What's up guys, it's Netero and today I am back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about why I think Netero is actually the main villain in Hunter x Hunter. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with my latest videos and smash that like button below to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Isaac Netero is the chairman of the Hunter Association, which is the guild that governs hunters in the world of Hunter x Hunter. At the age of 46, Netero disappears into the mountains, training for 3 years and completing 10,000 punches a day to show gratitude to martial arts. At first, this took him about 18 hours a day, but after continuing to do this every day continuously for 3 years, a change occurred, and he could complete all 10,000 punches in under an hour, which meant that each punch was faster than the speed of sound. He then entered into a state of enlightenment, and after this spent much of his time praying until he then came down from the mountain and opened his own martial arts school. Well, he didn't really open his own martial arts school, he kind of stole it off someone else after beating the master of the martial arts school, which kind of brings me on to my next point about what is Netero's purpose. The simple answer to this is that Netero pursues power and he wants to be the strongest. The caveat to that is that in most shonens, the characters that want power usually do it within the bounds of what is considered to be good. In Netero's case, he is willing to sacrifice anyone and anything in order to achieve that power. At the beginning of Hunter x Hunter, Netero is presented as a happy old man, and we think that he's going to be sort of like a kind old mentor to Gon and Killua. In reality, Netero doesn't care much for Gon and Killua past their ability to provide him a challenge. Netero's mission is to find someone worthy of fighting after decades of being the strongest nen user in the world. And this is made clear during his fight with Meruem, where he reminisces spitefully on the fact that he comforted his vanquished foes in decades gone past. He hated the fact that he was having mercy on those weaker than him, and he hated the idea that his beating of everyone around him made him soft towards them. He is always looking for a challenge, even if that means he appoints people like Pariston as the vice chairman of the Hunter Association, someone who Netero actually couldn't stand but he knew would undermine him and present him with an administrative challenge. Netero will sacrifice anyone or anything to find someone who can be a challenge for him, and his gratitude in finally being able to do that in fighting Meruem, and he was essentially thrilled at the idea that Meruem could actually have the potential to kill him. It's apparent fairly soon after we meet Netero that he is condescending, arrogant, and he doesn't have much sympathy for the weak. The countless deaths accrued during the Hunter exam that he designed don't faze him, and it becomes apparent that the purpose of the Hunter exam is partly for Netero to find a worthy opponent to fight. On top of that, the Hunter Association doesn't actually have any rules apart from a prohibition on harming other hunters, and Netero is the one who presides over all of this, meaning hunters can essentially kill whoever they like, apart from other hunters. His abilities and attitude in battle further back up the idea that he is always battle hungry and that he is actually the villain of the series. First of all, what are his abilities? His abilities are pretty insane. He can summon a giant Buddha statue which has hands which he can move in an infinite number of combinations, or hands as they're called. On top of that, he has the Zero Hand, which is his ultimate attack, which summons a Buddha behind his opponent and fires every bit of Netero's aura at the enemy, incinerating the area at the same time. His abilities in the Hunter x Hunter world are insanely powerful, and each movement of the statue only takes him a fraction of a second. Anyone else wouldn't have been able to move this gargantuan statue around efficiently. At the end of Netero's fight with Meruem, he releases the Zero Hand. He soon realizes after that he's going to die, as it actually had no effect on Meruem, but Netero is also a master tactician and is excited even further by this prospect. Laughing off his seeming loss, he had pre-implanted an atomic bomb called the Poor Man's Rose into his body, and with one last roar, he shows his menace, murderous intent, and desire to win at all costs by blowing himself up along with Meruem, 2 royal guards, and also killing Komagi in the process by poisoning. I thought about this, and poisoning is probably one of the most devilish ways to kill someone, as it requires such a level of premeditation and planning to carry out. And Netero not only used poison to kill Meruem, he actually dispatched him with an explosive atomic bomb as well. On the other hand, there's a question about whether Netero actually has any quote-unquote good on him. I find it hard to believe that Netero actually does anything truly good for altruistic purposes. Some may say that Netero killing himself at the end to save humanity was his final good, but I didn't actually view it that way. I saw it as Netero's final act of obliterating an ant that he thought of as inferior to himself, as he taunts Meruem by calling him an insect throughout their fight condescendingly. Perhaps you could also say that Netero shows respect to his opponents to a certain degree, and this is really the most good I could see from Netero. For example, he is surprised to see Meruem grieving over Komagi after she gets hit by Zeno's dragon dive, and he actually agrees to fight Meruem away from Komagi as a result of this. Apart from these two debatable points, I actually struggle to find the good in Netero. Netero is not easily definable within any standard character role. He's presented on the outside as one of the protagonists of the series, but it becomes apparent towards the end of the series that he is actually the greatest antagonist of the series. I've always enjoyed complex characters in anime, and they don't really get much more complex than Netero. For me, as I said, he is the villain of the series, ahead of Meruem. Perhaps one of Netero's most villainous traits is that he would willingly throw his juniors under the bus in order to test their strength, even if it means their death, when he is actually supposed to be their leader and the one who nurtures and mentors them. Prime example of this being the Hunter exam. On the other hand, Meruem, once he had actually got to know himself and developed some empathy, past Peggy, the penguin chimera ant, he didn't actually kill anyone from his own kind and actually forgave Yuppie when he did something that he deemed wrong. Netero's antagonistic behavior with a protagonist rapper, as it were, might actually be a political commentary by Yoshihiro Togashi, the writer of Hunter x Hunter, that leaders masked as the protagonists are actually the greatest self-serving antagonists. Behind Netero's, for the most part, quirky exterior is a very sinister brutality. Netero has heart, determination, grit, and doesn't tire, and has a sole driving force which is ultimately a very selfish one. He wants to be the strongest and fight the strongest, no matter what the cost to anyone or anything, and for me, that makes him the grand villain of the series. Hey guys, if you liked this video, please remember to smash that like button and subscribe to help me out with the YouTube algorithm and to keep up to date with all of my latest content.